I wanted to ask you briefly about Iran. I know that you've gotten many, many questions, both of you, about Iran. I just want to clarify a couple of issues. Does the Iranian regime continue to support Hezbollah? What kind of threat does Hezbollah pose to our ally Israel? Is Iran supporting Hamas in the Gaza Strip? And General Burgess, is Iran supporting insurgents in Afghanistan? And what role is Iran playing in Iraq?
I didn't quite write down all those questions.
So basically, do they continue to support Hezbollah?
Yes, they do.
Hamas?
There is a very close relationship between particularly the IRGC, the Republican Guard Corps Quds Force, which is the organization responsible for external operations around the world, and Hezbollah. It is kind of a partnership arrangement with the Iranians as the senior partner.
And is Hezbollah not a terrorist group that threatens our close ally Israel?
Yes.
Does Iran continue to support Hamas in the Gaza Strip?
Indirectly, yes.
Okay. Are they not a threat also to Israel and also to the peace process?
Hamas? Is that who you're? Yes.
General Burgess, is Iran supporting the insurgents in Iraq? In Afghanistan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what type of role are they playing in Afghanistan?
Well, they have provided arms. They have been caught. I mean, we have found Iranian arms in Afghanistan. So, you know, they're working what we would call a dual track strategy as they work not only to work against U.S. and coalition desires in there, but while at the same time they want to put forward the government of Afghanistan. So they're walking a very fine line.
But they're clearly supporting our enemies and trying to kill our soldiers.
Yes, ma'am.
And in Iraq, what role are they playing right now that we've withdrawn, and how would you describe their role there? I
would describe their role in much the same way as I did in Afghanistan, as a very dual track. Iran does not want a strong Iraq on their border, but at the same time, they also want to, encourage us out of there totally. So again, they're walking both sides of the fence.
So again, they're working contrary to a stable Iraq, and they're also working contrary to our national security interests.
I would not disagree with that statement.
They would like to have a cooperative Shia-dominated government in Iraq, which they have, but that's not to say that the Iraqi government, particularly Prime Minister Maliki, is necessarily a complete satellite of Iran. He has his issues with the Iranians as well.
But clearly their efforts are continuing to fuel sectarian violence.
Absolutely. The three principal Shia militant groups that Iran has supported in the past, some of which were directly responsible for attacks on U.S. forces. And of course, the issue is whether that they will turn their ire against the Iraqi government or simply become part of the political process remains to be seen.
And when you throw on top of it, of course, their efforts to acquire a nuclear weapon, no question they are a grave threat to our national security and to that of our allies.
That's true. Iran is a big problem.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Ayotte. Senator